Hello everybody and welcome to the second video about IGCSE database questions in Microsoft Access. I say everybody because I now have an anonymous subscriber. Ooh, interesting. This person is not at EMS and is not one of my students, so I guess you could say I have a fan. Those of you who are my students can stop laughing now. It's true. Check the subscribers list. There is at least one person that you don't know. So, welcome anonymous subscriber person and welcome year 10. Okay, let's get straight to it and have a look at reports and queries. Now in this video I'm only going to do the query because Mr. and Mrs. YouTube will only allow me 7 minutes of video before they cut me off. So I'm going to do queries only, but just before I do, you know that the questions in the question paper ask you to produce a report. And there is nothing written here about a query. And that is because you have to perform a query to sort and search the data, and once you have done that sorting and searching, you produce the report. So that's kind of how it works. The report is kind of like, here's the information from the database that you wanted, having sorted and searched it in the query. That's the logic of how this thing works. So anyway, the first thing we have to do is work out which part of this question goes in the query and which part of it goes into the report. And remember, I told you that there were some rules for this. So let me just open up Microsoft Word and remind you of the rules. Queries. Queries are to do with anything to do with calculating new fields or sorting and searching the data. We did do this in class, and I did tell you to write this down. Some of you did, some of you didn't. Well, here we go. Reports. Reports is to do with the layout of the data or calculating the totals of something, like the total of the income field or the average of the income field. Generally speaking, these are the rules that you must follow. Queries are for this and reports are for this. So please put this in your mind while we look at the question. Has a page orientation of portrait? That's the layout. So that's done in the report. So we don't need to worry about that because this video is for queries. Fits on a single page wide. That's the layout again, so we don't need to worry about that in this video either. Contains a new field called income. Oh, calculating new fields is a query, so we do have to worry about that one. So what I would be wanting you to do is on a little piece of paper, I'd be wanting you to write Q next to that. Q meaning query. Has the income field formatted as currency to 2 decimal places? Well, you do that when you create it, so that must be the query. Shows only the records where week is 36, date was between the 1st of April 2009 and the 30th of June 2009 inclusive, and the office is Strand. Lots of information there, but if I check my rules, I think if I'm finding that, I'm kind of sorting and searching the data there to find that information. So on that basis, I would say this is the query. Shows only the fields staff, date, booking, week, number, tour, and income. Well, for this one, I have to select the fields in the query. So this is the query as well. Shows this data and field names in full. That's the layout, so that's the report. Sorts the data into ascending order of date. The clue's in the question, people. Sort into order of date. Sorting is a query, so we know we have to do that one as well. Includes the heading, week 36 for Strand. That's to do with the layout of the data, but as you know, or you should know, we will use this as the name of the query, and the reason is really simple, because we want to make sure that the report has this heading and we don't have to spend time writing it in an exam. So we'll use that heading. Calculates the total value of the income field. calculates the totals of something, must be the report. You see how this little kind of rules thing that I gave you kind of really helps figure out what you have to do. Okay, now that we've gone through those and worked out what is in the query and what's not, let's go to the first one that is to do with the query. Contains a new field called income, and this field will calculate price multiplied by number. Okay, create, query design, choose your table, put in your fields, double click to put them in, or you can drag them or you can click them. It's like a cookery program. Oh, you can like kind of punch the dough or you can roll it, but ultimately you need to move it and make a pizza. Anyway, here we go. Right, new field. To do that, we find the first available free box and we write the name of the new field, which is income, because if you look at the question, and I'm sure you would when you're doing this, income, which is calculated as price multiplied by number. So I should have two fields, yes I do, price and number. To put the field in, I use square brackets. So I do a square bracket, then I put in price and put a closed square bracket. Multiplied is a little star, open bracket, number, close bracket. It's as simple as that. That's all I have to do to create the new field. The new field is income and it will be price multiplied by number. There's price, there's number. All you need to do, put them in a couple of brackets and you're done. Except that we want this column to be money, so we make sure up the top here we format it to currency. If for any reason your box does not come up when you click on the second row here, you can just right click and go to properties instead and the same box will appear. So it's pretty easy. Let's run the query. Do we have a new field called income? Yes we do. Awesome. So that must be working. So let's look at what else we need to do in this query. Has the income field, we've done that. Shows only the records where week is 36. The booking date was made between the 1st of April and the 30th of June, and office is Strand. Okay. Week criteria would be 36. Office criteria would be Strand. And then we have the date. Now there are different ways of doing the date. I'm going to show you the easiest way, or at least theoretically the easiest way of doing it. But there are more than one way of. There is more than one way of doing it. There are more than one way of doing it. I need to improve my English. Maybe I should go next door and see Miss Sheila, because I can't speak. Anyway, 1st of April 2009, 30th of June 2009. Here's the way that I think is easier. Use the word between, not betweeb or betweeb equals, between. And then you just write in the dates that are in the exam paper. 1st of April 2009 and 30th of June. So between 01/04/2009 and 30/06/2009 should allow you to only select the data that is between those dates. Now let's see if I've got this right. Yay! I've got it right. I haven't got anything before the 1st of April and I haven't got anything after the 30th of June. So that's perfect so far. But I'm not finished yet because I'm pretty sure there was another couple of things I had to do. Shows only the field staff, date, booking, week, number, tour and income. So basically show only everything nearly there, isn't it? Okay, staff, booking, date and week. Staff, don't need that, don't need that. Booking, week. What's the next one? Price. Number, tour and income. So I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that. Number, tour and income. I'll just check price wasn't there. No, it wasn't. Okay, thought I was seeing things. I'm hallucinating. That's a good start to the day, isn't it? Hallucination. Anyway, now I should be ready to run my query, and there is the data that I would need in order to do the report. Now, all I need to do right now is save this query, and I told you that the name you should save it as is the name of the report, which would be week 36 for Strand. So just copy week 36 from Strand from the exam paper, paste it in here, and voila, as the French would say, you now have a completed query. Now, this is not the only query I'm going to do. I'm also going to do a calculation query using totals, because that's also part of the course. But for now, in order to keep Mr. and Mrs. Google happy and Mr. and Mrs. YouTube happy, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will come back to you in just a minute, or it might be an hour depending on when you look at YouTube, but for me it's a minute, trust me. I'll come back to you with reports.